She's a visionary, a thought leader in the tech space, and a powerhouse entrepreneur. Dawn Dickson made history as the first female founder to raise over $1 million in a secure token offering. Through her companies PopCom and Flat Out Heels, she's revolutionized retail technology while paving the way for others to build wealth and financial freedom. Now she's taking her talents to Ghana, venturing into real estate, and empowering people with the skills to become millionaires themselves. In this episode, I sit down with Dawn to talk about her journey, her impact, and what's next for her here in the African continent. Hello, my name is Ivy Prosper and I tell stories from Africa and the African diaspora. Today I have a special guest. She is an entrepreneur, she is an investor, and not only has she been investing in America, where she came from, but she's also been investing in Africa, in Rwanda and in Ghana. And that is something that a lot of people haven't even done. A lot of people have come to Ghana, they haven't invested in Ghana, but she's done both Ghana and Rwanda, and she wants to do so much more. She's the founder of 3 companies, 2 of them in the US and 1 of them here in Ghana, PopCom, as well as Flat Out Heels, and here in Ghana, D1 Consulting. I'm speaking today with Dawn Dickson. Thank you, Dawn, for taking time out of your busy schedule.
Thanks for having me. It's been a long time coming.
I know, we've been trying to plan this for a long time and finally it's come together, so yes. I'm happy.
Thank you.
So I want to start off with congratulations on becoming a citizen of Ghana.
Thank you. Definitely a dream come true. Since I was young, I wanted dual citizenship and I knew I wanted an African country. So Ghana called me home and 2 years later, I'm a citizen. It's amazing.
How did you know you wanted to come to an African country? Because a lot of people that I've met, anyway, from my personal experience, a lot of African Americans didn't really think about coming to Africa back in the day. I mean, now more so, but back in the day, not really.
I come from like a pro-black mom.
Okay.
So like very familiar growing up with the Black Panthers, with the Garvey movement, you know, so that was like, I was always taught Black history, taught Pan-Africanism, and so I always wanted to live in Africa as a young person.
Okay.
But I didn't know what country. There's so many countries. So Ghana didn't even come to me till 2019, near the return.
Okay, all right. So we'll get back to that. I want to first introduce the audience to who you are and what you do, because you've done some really amazing work in the business industry. Like when I hear about you were the first Black woman to raise $1 million.
Well, first female founder of any color to raise $1 million using a token sale. So using crypto essentially under the Jobs Act. So to crowdfund. Crowdfunding was a new thing under the Jobs Act that came into place under President Barack Obama. Mm-hmm. And it allowed anyone to raise money from their community, which was very not common because typically when you're a founder, you raise money from venture capital or you get banks or you get loans. But allowing us to open up and raise money from our community was a new thing. And then the digitization and tokenization of your cap table on the blockchain was also a new thing with crypto. So I was the first female founder to do a token sale over $1 million and to crowdfund. And it just opened up the floodgates now. And now people have raised millions and millions, hundreds of millions after I did.
That's amazing. So you opened the doors.
I did.
Wow. And I thought it was first Black woman. So thank you for correcting me that it's first female, period.
Yeah, it means a lot to me because I don't like to be put in a black box. Mm-hmm. You know, I feel like in America, we're always categorized by she's a Black this, a Black that. But I'm just a person that did something that has never been done. Mm-hmm. And so it means a lot. And even living in Ghana, I like that I'm not like Black. Yeah,
you're just a woman.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or identify by my nationality, which is okay, but I like to take away it's like something that is very divisive when you just use one skin color to define them.
And that's the environment that you're coming from, though, because America is very divisive when it comes to race.
Yes.
We hear it in political conversations, in business conversations, even school. You know, we hear conversations about them wanting to get rid of diversity and inclusion. So it's definitely something that it's in the environment that you came from.
DEI is on the way out.
Yeah.
It's going to be no longer in the States.
How do you feel about that?
I feel I don't have any feelings. It's their country. You know, the British, they came over, they won, they colonized, they killed 25 million indigenous people. That's their country. It's not for black people. So I feel if we don't like their policies, leave.
You have a good point. You know, Canada was the same way.
It's their
Canada
country.
was the French and the British who fought and got that country.
Yes.
They also killed a lot of indigenous people. There was even mass graves that were recently
Yes.
found. I don't know if you heard about that
did.
story.
I do follow.
And it's traumatizing for people of color. But people of color are constantly from other parts of the world fighting to go there.
America is I think the best propaganda machine in the world. They paint a picture that it's wealthy, it's beautiful, it's prosperous, and it is like that for some, but it's not built for people of color. It's not who it's for. We can go work there. We can have a nice life. I mean, I became a millionaire. I had a very nice life. I wouldn't say that I didn't, but there's a ceiling, and I experienced it. And, you know, being a black anything, it's going to limit what you can do. And they only will let a few token black people get ahead. And I say this, people get mad at me. And they'll say, oh, you know, you don't want to work hard. You don't want to. I did work hard. I made millions. I'm not complaining. But I could have made billions if I was a white man.
What were the ceilings that you experienced after you raised that capital for your business? What was the next thing that happened?
They only let you get so much, you know, so anyone that is in that technology space and you're raising venture capital and you want to go through the process that it takes from start to exit, you know that an exit means a liquidity event, which will happen in going public or being acquired. In order to get there, you need to raise several rounds of funding. And so they only are really allowing black founders to raise 1 or 2 rounds when you really need to raise a seed, a Series A, B, C, and typically a D before you can go to a stock market or an acquisition. So I made it to my seed. My Series A didn't go through, and most of the black founders that I know, they don't make it past Series B. So they either fail, shut down, or they have to sell.
And what do those mean for those watching that don't understand Series A, Series B? What does all that mean?
All that really means is like the next one. Like, so you raise 1 round, typically it's a few $1 million to prove your business, get some traction, meaning get some sales, get some customers, show that you're growing. Then you raise a Series A, which is your first large round, usually 10 million and up. You raise that, you use that money to grow your business even more, to increase the value even more. And then you raise a Series B, which is the next round. And then maybe the Series B will be 50 million or 100 million. And you keep going until you're building a $1 billion business.
Okay.
And then you go public on the stock market.
And people of color don't get those opportunities
It's
at the same
very
level.
rare. There's only been a handful of companies that have went public and very few black founders that have been able to make that through to get a Series B or D or higher rounds.
Okay. So tell me about your businesses.
Yeah.
PopCom.
PopCom's a software company, so my background is technology. I built software to help retailers collect data at the point of sale from automated retail. So like vending machines, kiosk, and self-service, which is the future of retail. And then when COVID came, people didn't want to touch things anymore. People couldn't transact hand to hand.
Yeah.
So automation really took off during COVID. And that's when I raised a total of $7 million. My business was growing very fast. Then I have my company, Flat Out of Heels, which are rollable flats for women. So again, it was just like a business that I started in 2010 as a response to women wearing heels going out. You know this very well. Our feet hurt.
I know.
And it's just a quick thing. Roll them up, put them in your bag. Fold them up, put them in your bag. And, you know, make millions doing that. Sold many, many pairs of shoes. They were worn by all of the celebrities and influencers in the States for some time. And I'm actually bringing them to Ghana now.
That's great.
So I want to let my Ghanaian ladies get some relief.
That's
you
great.
know?
I've actually seen them. My friends were like, Ivy, why didn't you invent something like this? Because I actually used to work in the footwear industry, and I had this habit of when I would buy shoes, like I'll have a pair of green shoes, and then I have like green flats,
Yes.
and I'll put them in my bag. I'll put them in like in a plastic bag, then I'll roll it up and put it into my handbag, so that way when it got towards the end of the night, when my feet were hurting, I would just go and switch the shoes. And then when yours came out, it was like, oh my God, this is what I was already doing, except I was like buying 2 pairs of shoes and just
Yes.
like swapping them. So it was a really brilliant idea
Thank you.
to execute.
Thank you, and it did really well, and that led to the idea of the vending machine software business, because I wanted to sell my flats and vending machines. So that's how I even got into that. And then all along, you know, since I have been in business for myself since 2001, the early days of like the internet, I started a consulting company in 2005 called D1 Consulting. And what we do, or what I do under that, has changed over the decades and the needs. In the beginning was helping people to just create an online business, because I got online in a time where people said people will never shop online.
And I was one of those people that
Yes.
was not like jumping on it, and I wish I
Really?
did. Yes, because I remember when Amazon came out, and I was like, who's going to buy books online?
Exactly.
I was like, who wants to buy books online? Because it's, for those who don't know, it started off as books
Yes.
only. And I was like, nah, I want to go to the bookstore. I want to feel the books. So I didn't see the vision.
And many business owners at the time in the early 2000s were like, we don't need a website. What do we need that for? We're doing just fine. We don't need e-commerce. Like, it wasn't even called e-commerce then. We don't need to sell things. So I would help businesses to launch an online presence in the early 2000s up to about 2010. And then from there, helping them get a marketing, how to do digital marketing. Remember, marketing is totally different offline and online.
Completely different.
And so I became an expert in digital marketing, and that's what I did under D1 Consulting for many years. And now, fast forward, you know, it's almost 20 years, and now I do consulting for real estate development and business consulting here in Ghana. So that's the good thing about consulting is it can just be whatever your expertise is at the time. So I've maintained that company for a long time.
That's good. That's good. And you talk about real estate. I know that you're heavily into real estate here in Ghana. What made you decide that you wanted to get into that here? Because it can be complicated in this country.
Me. It is very complicated. You know, because of my background, I have a large following of people. When I did my crowdfunding, I raised money from 10,000 people. So that's how many people I have in my personal database and access to, and people that follow me on social channels and engage with me. So my journey in Ghana and Rwanda was very personal. It was just me, you know, certain time of life. My daughter was she graduated from high school. She's in college, recently divorced. It was like me doing what I wanted to do with my life, coming to Africa and establishing myself, but I was sharing that journey. And people would see me and say, I want to buy land, or how are you finding trustworthy things to do, or how'd you find your farm? And so I heard about so many negative stories that happened to us on the continent that I said, okay, well, I can use my platform for good, and I can help people through my consulting company find opportunities and connect with reliable, credible sources to invest in either business investing or real estate investing. So I didn't never want to go and do real estate. It was just more so like business is business. And if I have some resources that I can share to help people not get taken advantage of, then I want to do that. And then from there, it just turned into I'm doing real estate.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't consider myself a realtor. I do sales, because I won't just sell anybody's. If somebody comes to me and says, I have a house I want to sell, I'm not doing that. I really just focus on in things that are good for investment for foreigners, because many people are not living here full time. So where can you put your money that it can work for you? Or where can you invest as far as real estate that long term it will be profitable and valuable by the time you want to move here? You know, those people, those Ghanaians who bought land in East Legon 50 years ago, it wasn't East Legon today.
No, it
They're
wasn't.
seeing the
It
benefit
wasn't.
now.
Yeah.
I live in Chado. Chado's a new place, but 20 years ago, it was nothing but bush.
Exactly.
So I'm
Even
helping
10 years
people
ago.
exactly to determine what's next and where is a good place to invest early. Because Accra is choked. We know this. East Legon is choked. So what's next? And so that's what I've been really committed to doing.
That's good. And what is next?
I definitely think next is outside of Accra.
Yeah.
There's so many things like, so obviously going towards Volta region, lots of great opportunities going in that direction. A lot of Americans like to, you know, the areas of Prom, and the roads are, you know, pretty good that way. And then obviously going on the side of everything headed up towards Cape Coast, towards Central region. So like Gomafete, Weja, Apam. These are also great areas to start to look at, because a lot of new things are coming up, and the roads. So they're redoing that whole road, and so soon
I
that road
noticed
to
a lot
Cape
of the work
Coast,
is, that road will be
it's
done, and it'll be
doing
so much better.
amazing. So
Yeah.
it'll cut that travel time, I believe, from 3.5 to 4 hours to maybe 2. So that'll make it, you know, a lot easier. So I really do. I love that area going up to Central region, and all the different coastal areas that you can go. And then there's some great inland places like Dansoman is nice. There's another area, just escaped my brain, that it's near East Lagoon Hills. It just escaped me what it's called, but there's a lot of great opportunities over there as well.
Yeah.
Things that I think will be coming next.
Yeah, definitely. And you actually bought in Rwanda before you bought in Ghana, right?
Yes.
What led you there, and like what did you see as the potential? I know that we hear about Rwanda and how great they're doing.
Yeah.
It's a clean country. A lot of infrastructure is done well in comparison to Ghana. What drew you there first before you came here?
Researching before I invested in a business in Ghana first, but I wasn't really sure if I wanted to live here. I was researching where I can live, and I was married at the time. And my ex-husband really loved Rwanda because of the ease of doing business. Mm-hmm. It's very easy to go set up a business like within a week.
Oh, really?
Yes, it's not expensive. It doesn't have all those fees associated with even in Ghana as a foreigner. And then it's very transparent in all transactions. So if you want to look at a piece of land in Rwanda, you literally get the code of the land, text it to a short code, and it tells you the ownership and all the information. Can you imagine if Ghana Lands Commission? We don't have that here. Can you imagine if the Ghana Lands Commission, you could send a text and know who owns the land? So like
we don't have
we don't even know who owns the land. Even if we think we own the land, we don't know who owns the land. So I think for me as a first time investor in real estate, I wanted a soft landing. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And then I was looking at the future of what's happening. Rwanda's building a new airport. When I got wind of that, I wanted to invest near that airport. So I bought 5 acres near the airport that they're building now, just because I was looking towards my retirement. And what can I do that's going to create residual income for my family for the rest of my life and even the rest of my daughter's life. And I believe that's, owning a hotel by the airport.
That's what you're building?
Yes.
That's amazing. Mm-hmm. Have they broke ground yet?
No, we're not breaking ground anytime soon.
Okay.
It's going to be a few years.
Okay.
So I'm focused on building my house in Ghana and finishing things in Ghana. And my goal is, which I haven't done it yet, so I'm speaking it out because I want to attract it, is to get a joint venture with a large hotel group to then build on my land. I lease them to my land, and then I just take the money. I don't want to work too much. Mm-hmm. I am building a bed and breakfast on my land. It'll be 6 units, and that's breaking ground in a few months. But that'll be more like my family compound eventually.
Right. Mm-hmm. That's great. You have great visions of what you want to do. And I meet a lot of people, and a lot of people are still navigating and trying to figure things out. How were you able to just hone in like that? Like you just...
I am divinely guided. I give myself credit for doing a lot of research and really looking at the pros and cons of all things and not getting caught up into the emotions, because it's easy to see something and just like, oh, I want to get it. It looks nice, and then not thinking it all the way through. So I'm a business person first. Been in business 25 years, raised millions of dollars, made millions of dollars. So I look at everything from a business lens, including like marriages, But when it came to Rwanda, God just was lining up the right connections for me. I mean, I was praying and I said, God, give me an opportunity to invest in something early. Why am I always late to the party? Why I always find out when the prices triple? Like, help me get in early. And getting wind of the Rwanda airport before it broke ground, before it was in the media, was a blessing from God.
I bet.
That's all that I can say. Because now the land's basically sold out, and my land has went up in almost 3 times its value in the past year and a half.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And I haven't done anything to it. I just demolished some things, but just the same piece of land that I paid $70,000 for is now worth 200 and something. And I haven't done anything yet.
I can only imagine how far it's going to go.
Yes, because when that airport, it's not even, the airport hasn't broke ground. It's just they've cleared everything. They've done the roads, the foundation, they're getting ready to go up. But I feel like in the next 2 years, it'll just be exponential.
It'll be like triple.
But I wanted that for myself, like I said, so many times we get in late. Even though like Ghana, this is not my home country, so there's no freehold land anymore. The Ghanaians which they deserve their land. When I went to the Middle East, you can't own land in Kuwait unless you're Kuwaiti. You can't own land in Qatar unless you're Qatari. So I'm not mad at Ghana for saying you only can lease it. That's fine with me. But the opportunity to lease the land in Airport Hills and, Chado and East Lagoon, that's gone. I wanted my opportunity to get a big hit, and I do believe that it's this.
Okay, that's good. So the freehold land thing, there's very few Ghanaians who also have freehold. It's very few Ghanaians who have freehold. Most Ghanaians are leasing, just like the the foreigners are leasing. It's just the time that's different.
Yes.
It's like 50 years for
99.
And then 99 for Ghanaians. Yeah. So
I know a lot of people, like some of the families that I work with here in Ghana, they have a lot of freehold land, but their family, their fathers were like
it gets
in government, in the early government, in the first government, you know, in the Nkrumah government.
Exactly.
And, you know, they were there.
Yeah.
Or they were working with Rawlings, and they were, so, you know, they were there.
Yeah. Because
right time, right place.
I know a lot of people who don't have freehold.
But then, do we really need it? I mean, people get so stressed out. Like when I start real estate, and
People
Americans
do.
are like, "I'll only keep it for 50 years." Hello, you're going to be dead.
There's so many people. Somebody was arguing in the comment section about they don't want land in Ghana anyway because it's only leased. They'll never own it. Why are you going to pay for land?
American land is leased.
And
I
was
dare
like,
you not to pay your property taxes for 1 year.
That's
in
what I
America.
was thinking
They're
too.
gonna take your house.
I was thinking the same thing too.
It's
I was
a
like,
lease.
but over there you have things you have to pay the
and
same
they're going to
way.
take your house, and it's a lease.
And a lot of people have taken on mortgages of homes they can't really afford, and they're paying the rest of their life. So if you're paying the rest of your life, you don't own it. The bank owns it until you've paid it off. And a lot of people.
I think it's the word lease. See, everything's about like the word lease and rent doesn't make you, they feel like they don't own it. It's just the word because it is the same. And I had a client say to me the other day, you know, I don't feel good. I only can keep my apartment for 50 years. I said, I promise you, you're not going to want to keep any single apartment for 50 years. There's going to be a new apartment in 10 years. It's going to make this, when you have, look, you're not going to want it. Nobody keeps apartments that long. You maybe keep a family home.
Yeah.
But an apartment that you buy as an investment, you flip out of it. So when you're even thinking about real estate in Ghana or in a developing place and you're thinking about it from an investment perspective, you don't want to hold more than 10 years anyway. So who cares if it's a 55-year lease versus a 99-year lease? It doesn't matter.
Good point. It's because it's one that people argue about all the time.
Yes, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Here in Ghana, with your real estate, I know that you are doing a project right now. I don't know if you want to talk about it.
Small, tiny.
So if you don't want to talk, you can cut me off.
Yeah.
But I learned that you're working with the rammed earth to do your next project.
Yes.
And it's something that is considered new technology, but it's something that is old,
it's
traditional stuff that people have
technology.
been doing on the continent for a long time. Talk a little bit about that as much as you can.
Yeah, I mean, really, it goes even back to me. It's very personal. I bought some land in Ghana, and I want to build my dream home, you know, first dream home. And dream home meant to me off-grid. I always wanted off-grid, fully sustainable, something that's easy to maintain and manage, something that's easy to keep cool. You know, I have my own natural water source. I have solar power. So I was researching sustainable building. That was it. I'm new to construction and all of that. I just was a tech entrepreneur trying to find a house for myself. And when I was looking up sustainability in construction, it kept coming up that, you know, like rammed earth, because it's thermal mass, because the way that it's built, it keeps it keeps the house cool. The temperature takes 13 hours to change. So like right now, we're in this room. If the AC went off now, we'd be sweating in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I know.
Profusely.
Yes.
But if we were in a rammed earth home, it would take 13 hours to feel a temperature adjustment. For me, that was ideal. It's fireproof. As we can see, the value of fireproof. Imagine if all the houses in California were built with fireproof materials. It can't be mold. It can't have bug infestation. There's just so many great things about it. I said, okay, I want this for myself. I then sought out looking for a company to build it for me that built to my standard, which I like luxury. I want affordable luxury. I want it to be high-end finishings. I want it to be very quality built. Now, there are a lot of people experimenting with Ram Earth locally, and they're learning it and they're trying the process. But I don't want you to learn on me. I need you to be an expert when you're building my house. So I found a company in South Africa called Ramtech. They've been around 16 years building luxury rammed earth homes in South Africa. And I convinced them to move to Ghana. But it wasn't easy because they weren't going to move for one house.
Right.
So once I realized, okay, I want them to build my house, I know I can't afford to bring these people here. What can I do? I was already selling land at the same time, helping people to acquire land in Ghana. So I just went to everybody that I had helped get land. I said, listen, I want to build my house with this material. I did a presentation on Zoom. This is what I'm working on. Who wants in? And 25 people said they want in.
That's great.
That's really how that happened. Again, it was divine. But then I started to connect with a lot of Ghanaians who are interested in it as well, but they just want to make sure that it's quality. You know, because if you don't do this technique right, it's
messed up.
It's messed up. It's not easy. You can't fix it. If you're a traditional home like we're in now, when you have the concrete, you have the concrete bricks, the cement bricks, you plaster it. It's easier to fix if something goes wrong. But with rammed earth, you really have to do it right and have to mix it right, or if the air gets in it, it definitely compromises the quality. So in addition to bringing the South African team here, I'm also doing training because I believe that Ghanaians deserve to have these homes. They're affordable. They're 40% less than cement homes because you don't really need to use cement in the homes if you don't want to.
Right.
But they don't know how to do it well. So we're doing training. So far we've trained 30 people. We're going to train a total of 100 in a Cebu. And then we're going to be training Ghanaians, whoever wants to learn how to do this, because I feel it could be a great income earner for people. And then it can empower local Ghanaians to build their homes more affordably. And they won't have to rely on the cement. So that's my give back part.
Cement prices
Bag
are
of
rising
cement
and rising.
have went up like 100% since last summer.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it just keeps going up and up and up.
It's crazy because I remember when it was 28 cedis a bag, then it went to 50, then it went to 100. So it's just like, it just keeps going up and up and up, making it more difficult for people to
And it's really impacting the
build.
locals. I think the price adjustments in Ghana are reflecting so many foreigners coming in and we're spending money here, but it's really hurting the locals because they're the ones that are building the most, So when you look at the ratio of foreigners who have the money maybe to spend 100 cedis for a bag of cement to the locals who are really building their family home by hand, it's not fair. So I said, okay, well, I can't affect us all coming here to your country and making the prices go up, but I can bring a resource that can reduce your costs. So I'm very passionate about empowering the locals. I believe that they deserve to live a quality of life as the foreigners do. I hate to see foreigners living well in Ghana and Ghanaians are not getting that equal treatment.
Yeah. It's really good that you're thinking about them.
I care. This is their country. I mean, it's my country now. I'm Ghanaian, but I don't want to be a colonizer. That's the last thing I want to do.
I've heard people say that that they feel like the diaspora coming in are now becoming the new colonizers. What are your thoughts on that?
They can be, yeah. But it depends on your actions. I mean, colonizer takes, I'm here to contribute. So I'm not, I've brought in millions of dollars into this country. I've invested in my own pocket hundreds of thousands out of my money. So I can't be a colonizer if I'm doing that. I'm employing and working with Ghanaians, giving them fair wages. I don't just pay my driver what I could pay. I give him what I would pay a person in America, basically, to drive me around every day because it's his time. And I would love to see him get ahead and buy his own car. And I want to leave an impact. So I pay people well. I do my part. So no, I can't be. But are there some? Yes. Are they trying to take advantage of that you can pay a Ghana minimum wage? Yes, that's wrong. You should not do that, but they do it. And all I can do is be an example of the change that I want to see.
Your daughter, has she been in Ghana?
Yes, she's been here 4 times. She just left. She was here in November. She likes it. She knows, this is where we're establishing ourselves. So I'm going to try to get her citizenship. I'm building a house for us, so it's our family home. And Rwanda too, she likes both of them. So she knows she's going to be on the continent.
That's good. Is she into business as well?
She is. She's always telling me growing up, Mom, I don't want to be an entrepreneur. It's too much work. I don't like it. And I say, okay, no problem. And now she started her own art business. She's an artist, a visual artist. And now she sells her art. She does commissions and she does she's really into fan art for like Ninja Turtles and other like anime. It's a whole world that I never knew about. But she has a store.
I don't know about that world either. I hear people talk about anime and all that.
And like just this whole world of just fan art. Ninja Turtles is like a cult thing. And she makes very good money selling Ninja Turtle fan art.
That's so interesting. Because when I think of Ninja Turtles, it just reminds me of my childhood.
Yes.
My brother would be watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and we want to change the channel because we want to watch something else. So. And
there's still, it's a big thing. It's like Disney or something, So she makes good money doing that. She's going to bring it to Ghana and making her keychains and her stickers and.
Good for her. Yeah. Good for her. Is she in college right now?
She's not now. I let her drop out, so she went for a year. She went to SCAD, which is one of the top art schools in the country. And she was like, Mom, I don't like taking psychology. I just want to focus on art. Can I just, she wrote out a whole plan. Like, okay, I want to take these art classes at these places. I want to travel here and go do this. I want to do this. I said, okay, as long as you have a plan for your life, who am I to tell you what to do with your life? You know, I think a big mistake, a lot of parents who parented us in our generation, they projected what they want us to be, and they kind of made us follow the path they thought we should follow as far as what we should study, where we should go. But the road has changed. You don't need a university degree to be successful unless it's a niche thing, you know, doctor, lawyer, something that you need a certification. So I encourage her to go out and get her education wherever she needs to get it from.
What do you advise young people in Ghana, because they don't have the same opportunities as American kids sometimes?
They have the opportunity to get on the internet, and that's one thing that you can't keep them from. I do get very angry when I see that countries are not welcoming to Ghanaians, how hard it is for Ghanaians to leave Ghana and get a visa for other opportunities. But thank God for the World Wide Web, because there's so many things they can do online. I mean, unlimited information, knowledge in universities or non-university courses, Udemy, free classes, you know, cheap classes. So there's opportunities to expand beyond Ghana online. But I've also noticed there's been, and you've probably seen this too, so many more programs being formed in Ghana to empower the youth here. Tech-focused programs. I was a mentor at the Bola Ray Institute, and there's a young lady started a program where she's teaching women how to be bakers and giving them all the equipment they need to bake, and helping them start their own cooking business. And many women in Ghana cook, but they don't have the proper equipment and the setup and the kitchens. So they're doing ghost kitchens. So I'm seeing many things coming in place in Ghana to empower the youth, to strengthen the natural skills that are here. But I think there still needs to be, you know, more. And I think that's something that us diasporans can contribute in workforce development, in bringing skills and bringing more programs. So that's my commitment. I'm going to train Ghanaians to build sustainable homes. If all of us pick something that we're committed to bringing a skill, imagine 524 of us just got citizenship, another 200. Imagine if 700 people came with something they were going to bring, a knowledge or a skill that they were going to be committed to helping to bring to this country. What would happen?
I believe in all of that. You've just become a citizen in November.
Yes, November 19th.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Part of the 524.
Yes.
A lot of people have been asking me what the process was of becoming a citizen. And I'm like, I was born in Ghana. You know, it's a different process for me than it is for someone like yourself. Was it a difficult process for you to get the citizenship?
This wasn't a process. This 524 and then the following 200 was something that the president just did as, you know, I put it this way. You know, in America, they have presidential pardons when the president will just get you out of jail. This was the same. The president gave us citizenship because he wanted to.
Yeah.
There were no requirements. All we had to do was do a police report. We had to do an interview, which was very brief, 5 minutes. Who are you? Why do you want to be here? You know, how long have you been here? And then I feel like as his legacy that he wanted to impart, he wanted to be the president to give diasporans citizenship. There was no process. It was, you were a citizen in a week. It was a blessing. It was an honor, and it was a gift. And I'm very fortunate to have been here at the right place at the right time. For those who want to get citizenship moving forward, perhaps our new president, Mahama, will have a program in place for nationalization. But if not, what I've discovered is you can become nationalized by living here, 5 to 10 years, through marriage, you know, but there's no process that I really know about. It's just, we just got lucky. But I tell people this, don't worry about the citizenship part. Come do the work. Come visit Ghana for more than partying. Invest your money in Ghana. Put money into a business, into some real estate. Do something positive and the citizenship will come. Honestly, my goal was not citizenship when I came. I thought it was unobtainable. People would ask me, you going to be a citizen? And I was like, I don't know. I mean, it'll be 10 years probably. I know people that's been here 10 years that don't have it. So I'm not focusing on that. I'm focusing on doing the work and contributing. And honestly, when you think about citizenship from a perspective of like Americans want to do citizenship for financial or tax benefits, it doesn't hold any in Ghana. You know, the Ghanaian passport allows you to access ECOWAS in Africa, but the Ghanaian passport, it doesn't get you as much traveling ability as American or Canadian passport.
No, not at
all. So relax on citizenship and just do the work, and it'll come. I believe that when you're on your path and you're doing what you should be doing, everything will fall into place.
I've heard rumors that there's, I mean, not rumors, but criticism because you said the president just decided to give it
Yes.
to anyone, and I had been telling people that it was under presidential executive order
It
because
was.
he can sign off
Yes.
on who he wants to have citizenship.
or not.
But I wanted someone who actually got it to say it,
Yes.
because I've been saying it to people, and
There
I
was
felt
no
like
criteria. It was
I felt like people
like-
didn't believe me when I said it's under presidential.
This is what happened. In our group chats, they were like, hey, the Office of Diaspora Affairs said they're going to do a citizenship. We don't know what's going to happen. Put your name on this list. We don't have any details. We don't know how much it costs. We don't know the process. If you want to be a citizen, put your name on this list. Okay, then we waited. Anybody on the name on the list, come to an interview. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know the time frame. We don't know how much it's going to cost. Just show up. We showed up. Okay, you did an interview. Everybody did an interview. Come get your fingerprints. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know the process. We don't know how long it's going to take. Everything was just going as you go. And that was it. There was nothing written down. There was no step by step. It was just they were flowing with it. And the same thing happened again with the second one, because I think he was just trying to do it before he left office. But now that there's a new government in place, there'll be a new diaspora office, I'm sure there'll be something to continue the momentum of encouraging people to return. But I also think it should be in a way where there's some responsibility that comes along with it, because it's not a novelty. It's not a game. It's not a hall pass. It's not a VIP ticket. It is citizenship to a nation that is developing and comes with responsibility. The nation has needs. They need us to come invest. It's not just to put on Instagram and say I have a passport. It's not just to come and party. So I think everybody with that citizenship now has a responsibility. And that's what it means to me. And I think that anyone else who wants to get citizenship should come not thinking, what can I take from Ghana, but what can I give to Ghana? And you'll be rewarded.
I agree. And I think that, I hope anyway, that President Mahama continues with granting citizenship for people of the diaspora who he looks at as people who will contribute to society.
They have to be contributing.
Because he was actually the first one to actually give citizenship.
Was that the Joseph or Joshua? What?
No, it was 2016.
Okay.
So the Joshua, you're thinking of the Joseph Project.
Joseph Project.
So the Joseph Project, that was a campaign to invite the diaspora to come.
That was Kufuor?
There was, I think it was under Kufuor.
Okay.
But it was the tourism minister's last name was Lamptey, and the full name is escaping me. My apologies, Ghanaians, that it's escaping me, but Lamptey, I remember, is the last name. But the Joseph Project was like how Year of Return was inviting the diaspora to
Right.
come. But I'm talking about like the citizenship
Actually giving it.
was
Okay.
2016, that the current president, Mahama, used to be president at that time, and he was actually the first one that granted citizenship to the diaspora, but it was a smaller group. I think it was
Yes.
about 34
Yes,
people
I did see that.
who got citizenship. So hopefully, because he's the one that actually did it first for a group, maybe he'll do it again, and he may want to top what the previous president did, because I feel like sometimes in politics, people, it's like they want to one-up each other. I don't know.
They do.
But we'll see what happens if he continues with it, which hopefully he does, because I
Hopefully
think
he
that there
does.
are people in diaspora who do deserve to have it. There are
They
people
do.
living here right now that have contacted me and said that they were disappointed that they didn't get citizenship with the last two groups that happened, because they've been living here. One person had said they've invested in property, and they've been here for a few years, and they
The
don't know why they
information
weren't on
was
the list.
disseminated through affinity groups. There was really no way to get it out there. So if you're a member of African American Association of Ghana, a member of Diaspora a Forum, the DAF, if you're a member of the Caribbean, a member of some of the
Ghana Caribbean Association.
Yes, the Ghana Caribbean Association. They distribute information through them. There's also one that's more aligned with like the Ghanaian, the diasporans from the UK. So to get the information out quickly, easily, and make it smooth, they did use affinity groups. So what I would encourage everybody listening or who wants to get to understand how to be a citizen in the future, join a group that you align with. There's many of them. Join a group. There's even Craig, that's like the in the central region. Like there's so many groups you can join. I'm in AAAG. Actually, that's how I found out about the call. So I got on the list first through Mr. Ababio in the diaspora office prior. I had a meeting with him. I told him my plans for Ghana, and he said, we're going to be doing a citizenship. I'll put you on a list. I was like, oh, wow, that's amazing, but I didn't even come here for that, but thank you. But I think that most people got it through an affinity group or through a connection. So in Ghana, we all know it's about who you know.
That's why networking is so important.
Networking is everything in this country. So those who got left out, unfortunately, just weren't in the right circles. So now put yourself in those circles.
Good advice. It's very good advice, because a lot of people are feeling like they were just totally cut off of an opportunity.
There's gatekeeping that happens, but if you put yourself in places, people can't block you. You know, you can't say, oh, I don't want to associate with them, and then complain when they have information that you don't have access to. So me, I tap in with everybody.
Very important. And living in Ghana now, you've been living here how long now?
2 years.
2 years? Have you been able to build a community of friends? Because I know one of the complaints I hear from Ghanaians, because for me, for people who may be watching me for the first time, I was born in Ghana. I have a lot of family here, but I was raised in Canada. And I lived in the US for a short time when I did some college. So I have friends in like so many different places. And I have had people from Ghana, Ghanaians that I know, who have said they feel like sometimes the diaspora come and then they separate themselves from Ghanaians and they only interact with them if it's like work, and then they separate and they have their own cliques.
True.
Have you been able to connect with the local community, or are you mostly with the diaspora community? Like, how do you see it?
No, I mean, I agree with you, you know, and I was very intentional that I didn't come to Ghana to hang around with Americans. I also would not be around Americans in Ghana that I wouldn't be around in America, you know. So I find my tribe, and I found my tribe of Ghanaians, you know, of like-minded, business-minded, forward-thinking. I was mentioning to you before, 90% of the people that I'm around are Ghanaians, and I love my community. They've embraced me. I would not be where I'm at without them. You cannot come to somebody's country and think you're going to get ahead without them, or only interacting with them when you're talking about your cleaner, getting your hair braided, your nails done, or your drivers. No, and that's what happened with a lot of Americans. They definitely click up and be with Americans. I understand that it's comfortable and familiar. I understand there's a lot of cultural differences, and there are. But if you want to be here and really assimilate, you have to become parts of families. And I feel like Ghanaians are very welcoming. But I will tell you, it's a class society.
It is very
classist.
classist.
I think because I am a high class rich person, it may be a little bit easier for me to get into certain circles in Ghana, because I do know a lot of the places that I go, I may see one or two other American diasporans. I'll definitely see a lot of Ghana, UK diasporans in these rooms, but I'm often the only American that's around. And you know, these are wealthy Ghanaians, and they respect me for my business, what I've done in my business, and that I am in their class. So I think that's a big one.
I'm glad you brought up the classism.
They're not going to bring you from the hood of America to the Emmys in Ghana. It's not going to happen.
The classism in Ghana is definitely real. And I think it is sort of a leftover of British colonialism, because the British society is also very classist as well. So
I mean, you can't be racist. I mean, there's tribalism, really. I've seen the tribalism here, like, lessening, but as a new person in Ghana, I was surprised, like, the tribalism, how they talk about each other in terms of tribe and separate and judge based on the tribe. So I've learned that as well.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because a lot of people don't talk about that. A lot of diasporans don't talk about that, because some of them don't recognize it so much, especially if you're staying in Accra a lot, because in Accra, you don't always see it as much, but once you get out, you hear some of the conversations. And with me, I have, my father's side is Ewe, my mother's side is Achim. And so I know growing up in Canada, my father used to talk about how he felt like the Ewes had been discriminated against in Ghana. And so for him, he said, living in Canada, when he faced racism, it didn't bother him as much, because he's like, oh, it's just a white person who's treating me that way. What bothered him more was his own people in Ghana to treat him differently, because he's from a different ethnic group. And so that's how he would brush racism off of his shoulders. He used to say, he'd be like, oh, well, whatever. It's just, I mean, it is what it is. It's not one of my people.
I mean, it's complex. Someone just came 100 years ago and called you Ghanaian when you were Ewe or Ga or Ashanti. So and now you're just supposed to all say, okay, now we're all Ghanaians and it's one love. I think it will take time even for that tribalism, but then I get
it's
nothing wrong with the pride of where you come from.
No, there's not.
There's nothing wrong as long as you don't discriminate. I love that. I love when I meet people and they tell me about their tribe and I see the festival. It means something.
I love the culture.
I don't want them to take that away. I don't want it to be black and white. So how else can you differentiate if not by class? Humans are never going to allow us to be balanced. It's never going to happen. We're humans.
Because we have the rich, we have the middle class, and the poor. So
So I'm fortunate and grateful that I'm in a certain financial category that has given me a lot of access.
Now, being somebody who's giving back into society in Ghana and in Rwanda, is there anything that you have planned to help with giving back to like young women, especially here in the country?
I don't have a specific initiative that I'm focused on as far as young women, like where it's like, okay, I'm going to go do this. The same way I'm like, I'm going to go and educate about rammed earth. But what I do is I mentor. So I have several like goddaughters and people that I mentor in Ghana and that I take in, help them. I found that money helps a lot of things. So I give money. It helps. Usually when people have a goal and a dream and a focus, the one thing that's pushing them away is the money.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I've always seen myself in the movement, and even in the States, as a Black American, example, Black Lives Matter, that thing. You have the people that are out there marching. I'm not a marcher. I'm not holding signs. I'm not posting on social media. You have the people that are out there donating, that are using their money, or that are helping push laws forward, or that are investing in things. I'm that person. So my role in the movement, even here in Ghana, is a financial role. So, for example, if you had a program for young women and you were like, Dawn, we're doing this and that, can you donate? Yes. That's who I am. Okay. I'm not going to go start anything. I feel like we don't need to reinvent the wheel. There's an NGO for everything, and most of them are underfunded. So I make donations. I donate 20% of most of the money that I make.
That's really good. That's really good because there's not many people who do that.
Yes.
Especially amongst our community. We have a lot of people who get it and they hoard it and they don't pass it on to help.
And even when I see my donations in form of I'm going to overpay, or I'm going to, because I don't go to church. I'm not a religious person. I'm definitely a spiritual person, but I believe in tithing. I believe that God blesses me with things is for me to return it. So if I'm blessed with something, I'm going to give it back, whether that means I'm giving it to my driver, or I'm giving it to someone that needs their school fees paid, or I'm just giving it. And that's how I see myself contributing.
That's good. You're doing a lot.
I'm just following my purpose. Like, I'm really divinely led. God is working in my life.
What do you see as your ultimate purpose?
My ultimate purpose that I see now, it's been more clear, is really helping to connect my people back to their continent, back to their roots, and land safely. And not have a negative experience, because I've seen so many people come ambitious, bright-eyed, and then they go turn it around and make a YouTube video saying they hate Ghana because they came around the wrong people. And then somebody else watches that YouTube video, now they don't like Ghana, and they don't trust Ghana. So it's like, I want to show a person and it's not that I'm like, when I say a person on my status, it's like, high net worth, successful person, coming back to Ghana, where I could be in the States still making millions and still be comfortable driving my new Mercedes, where I'm in an Uber right now, come back and saying, listen, I'm investing in Ghana. I'm trusting and doing business with the people in Ghana. You can too, it's safe. Let me help you. Let me connect you. I think that's going to have an impact that I won't even be able to measure. I feel like the seeds that I'm planting, I may never ever see the petals of the flower, but that's what my purpose is, to help people to land safely.
That's good. Because a lot of people need a safe landing.
They do.
And you're right.
I didn't get one.
Somebody even...
but I have money.
Somebody even messaged me earlier today about somebody who did a video and was complaining, and they wanted to like really engage in it. And sometimes I find it to be really draining and very toxic sometimes.
I don't watch the YouTube stuff.
Yeah. So
it's... Everybody has an opinion.
You said you didn't have a soft landing.
No.
What
I had
happened?
a rough landing.
What happened?
I was getting my ass beat. Everything happened, but I don't like to focus on the negative. It's because I didn't have people to talk to. I came here with no friends. I didn't really know anybody. I just came.
You just came?
I came. Yes. The people that I met, I just met. I met a few people when I came in 2019 for Year of the Return, because I was speaking at several tech conferences. So I met like Einstein and Christine, great people to know.
Right.
I had met a lot of the members of the AAAG, good people to know.
Did you speak at the Web3 event as well?
I spoke in 2019, I spoke at Ghana Tech Summit. And I spoke at another one. Okay. And then I was at MEST. So I was just really, my career was tech. So I was doing all the tech stuff at the time. Tech in Africa, all these things. Tech Connect. I was doing all these things. And so I was meeting good people in that professional space. But I'm also a person that's pretty introverted, even though it doesn't seem like it. And
I would have never guessed that
I think
about
I can
you.
do anything.
I would have never guessed you're introverted.
I don't talk to strangers. Like, if I'm in a room, I'm going to be generally quiet if I don't know anybody.
Okay.
If I get to know you, I'm going to talk.
Okay.
And so we know each other, so like I'm
Yeah.
very talkative, but like normally I don't say too much. I just really observe, and then I think I can do. I had this mindset of I can do it, because in America I did everything on my own. Ghana's not a place to come and try to figure it out on your own. I did that. That was a mistake. I didn't ask for help. I just said, okay, I got this. I've been all over the world. I can do anything. But there's just certain things that you just need guidance on, especially when it comes to like housing and transportation and navigating like service providers. And, you know, those things you can get taken advantage of like you would anywhere where you're green. And, you know, I just didn't know what I didn't know until I found out the hard way.
Right.
And I do openly share things that I went through so that other people can avoid some of those things and just certain cultural practices. But the main thing that I had to change myself to live here. I had to change the way that my voice, the way that I talk. Had to change my sometimes energy and attitude. I had to change the way that I respond to things. I had to be a lot more patient. And those are things that were not easy to adjust when you're so used to that fast-paced, more aggressive, just American lifestyle. One of the big changes I made was greeting people.
Yes.
Greeting people.
Yes. It's not common in some places. So like I live in Toronto, and it's like people are just going the hustle, going to the subway, getting to work. You're not stopping and greeting people.
Yes.
But here, if you don't greet people, even when you're buying something, like I could go
That's
to
the number one
Starbucks.
thing.
I can go to Starbucks, get my coffee, just place my order, go wait, give me my cup, and I leave. But if you do that in Ghana, you can't do that. You have to go.
You can't do that.
You go, you say, hello, how are you?
Yes.
Good morning. I hope all is well.
Exchange pleasantries.
Then can I
Yes.
have, order this? But you can't just, because then people will look at you like you're rude.
I had to change myself.
Yeah, I know. Somebody said I was rude once. Because they're like,
Yeah.
that lady's rude. She doesn't
I
greet.
wasn't trying to be rude, but change.
So you learn.
Yeah, like literally simple things. Like in the grocery store, I'm looking around, and in the States, I'd say, "Where's the toilet paper?" You never.
No, you don't do that here. You'd be
Come
like,
here and say,
excuse me,
hello,
hello.
how are you? Good afternoon. How are you? Oh, I'm well, thank you very much. Please, can you show me where's the tissue?
That's it. That's it. Learn that if you're coming to Ghana. Learn
Every
that.
interaction, hello, how are you? I'm well, thank you. Oh yes, it's a nice day. Just pleasantries. But it helps you to slow down and just interact with people as human beings. And I like that.
Yeah.
It's the things that Ghana has given me and the things that America took away, I wanted that human interaction, that one-to-one interaction, that personal touch that I enjoy, and it's nice.
Yeah, we weren't used to that, because I wasn't used to that. I was used to just get to the point.
Right to the point.
Even in WhatsApp, like someone told me that when I
Yes.
chat, I'm being rude because
Me too.
I'll send a message. I'll literally be like, "Oh, something came to my mind," and then I just
Yes, you can't do that.
And it's like, "Oh, you didn't even greet me. Good
Exactly.
morning." And it's like, "Oh,
Exactly.
you
They'll
have-
get mad.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was wrong. Because like even like me and you were meeting today, the old me would have said, "Hey, what time we gotta be at the place today?" No. I have to be, Ivy, good afternoon. How are you? And then I gotta stop and then wait for you to answer. You can't say, Ivy, good afternoon, how are you? What time is the place? No. Get the greeting, do the greeting, then ask the question.
Yeah.
And WhatsApp was a big adjustment because I'm used to firing off text messages. I was a CEO of a business. I'm used to just firing off instructions.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest. Once I got that down and just always lead in my mind to be kind and respectful, because that is the Ghanaian way. Kindness and respect is the Ghanaian way. If you just have that, even in your tone of voice, then most of your problems will go away. Yes.
And then slowing down when you say certain things,
Yes.
because I found that I was speaking too fast for some
Yes.
people, and they'd be like, I don't get you. Slowing it down and even pronouncing some words
Yes.
clearly so that they can hear you. So yeah, it's great advice.
Yes. Listen, it doesn't take me long to learn.
It is great advice.
I do whatever I can to make my life easy. If that
Yeah.
means adjusting my tone of voice and greeting everyone properly, I'm going to do that.
Yeah. And I love the sense of community here, because I didn't even know my neighbors in Toronto, but here it's like, I was sick for a little while, and people didn't see me coming and going, coming and going. So somebody came to my gate like, are you okay? We haven't seen you come out. Are you all right? And it was like, wow, there's someone's checking on me, you know, that wouldn't happen in
It doesn't. I was on the plane yesterday from coming back to Ghana, and it was a long flight, and I was laying on the flight. They served 2 meals, and I didn't eat. It was a 9-hour flight. I wasn't really feeling well. And the Ghanaian woman next to me said, listen, you haven't eaten. Are you okay? Like, just the fact that you care. Like, nobody cares. So I like to feel like I'm cared about. Like, my people, my security, my driver, you know, the woman that cooks for me, they're not just like workers. Like, they're my friends. They're like my family, and they actually care about me. And a lot of times you can go in the States, and it doesn't matter how much money you have, anything. People just don't care about you. That's how come you see millionaires commit suicide in their mansions. Because what we really just need is to feel loved and cared about, and just that basic human needs of, like, you know, contact that I wasn't really getting before. So it is nice. And I am neighborly now. I wasn't even a neighborly person. Now my neighbors were over last night hanging out at my house, which is something that never would have happened.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. So you like Chado?
Yeah, I love Chado. It's new. You know, everything is I like new. So everything is like, all the buildings are new, everything's coming up. It's a very developing place. So I feel like in 5 years it's going to be like this beautiful new neighborhood. But obviously there's like chain homes over there, Airport Hills, where, you know, our president lives. So it's a really great place to be. And then the new flyover is so easy.
It makes stuff so easy.
I can get to East Lagoon in 10 minutes now.
Oh my goodness. Like, it has changed the game with traffic. Traffic wasn't as bad this December as it was last December. I mean, even throughout the whole year, it's like that road.
That road was a game changer.
Completely.
Now, can they just change that La Road? Can they just fix that road, the beach road for where Labadi Beach? I mean, once they do that, that's going to change the game too. That's
so many places that they need to fix.
But you know, I'll give Ghana its credit that it's working. Things are happening, and I feel a sense of change with this new election. I'm praying that everything that President Mahama has promised happens, at least 50%. You know, because Ghanaians deserve it.
I hope so too.
They deserve it.
I hope so too. And I know he's talked a lot about the 24-hour economy he wants to do.
Nice.
And I think that is going to take a huge adjustment for Ghanaians, because Ghanaians are used to things being at sunrise to sunset.
Yes.
They're used to a lot of things being closed by 6, 7 p.m. And then you have a few places like Accra Mall that are open till 9 and stuff. A few places in Osu that are open late. But a 24-hour economy means shift work.
Yeah.
You know, it really means people being willing to work different shifts, which will employ more people.
It will employ more
and
people,
reduce
for
the
sure.
unemployment rates. So
I think that's definitely a positive thing. I hope it doesn't bring that Western sense of urgency, because one thing I did love about Ghana, you know, I did have a job. I worked for DevTraco. I had a full-time job. For 6 months, I worked as head of business development for DevTraco. I loved it. Loved, great company. I just realized I'm not meant to be at a desk. You know, I had to go to work. They had me go to work.
Yeah.
Me,
you
entrepreneur.
Want flexible.
They said, "Madam, be here at 8 a.m. You can leave at 5." I had never did that, but I did it for 6 months. I learned so much about the culture and things. But what I love the most, never happened to me in the States. During Christmas break, you know, Ghanaians holiday. There's a lot of holidays in Ghana. They will holiday.
Yes.
But holiday is a holiday.
Yeah.
No work.
Yeah.
So in the States, we're on Christmas holiday, Christmas break, out of the office, you're still doing email, you're still doing meetings. If somebody messages you, you're expected to reply. So I kept that mentality with me. When I worked at DevTraco, I'll be sending emails to my coworkers during December 20th, and I'm getting nothing from them. And first I'm like, why are they ignoring me? They're leaving on red. They don't even talk to me. But then I realized, wait a minute, relax. You get a real holiday for the first time in your adult life. Ghana has given you a real holiday. I didn't even know what to do with myself, not picking up my computer, checking email, and doing meetings. So Ghana gave me a gift of knowing what it's like to be on vacation. And now they can't stop me. Now I'm just... This past December, I didn't pick up my laptop 2 weeks straight. That was Ghana. That never happened to me. So I hope they don't change that, because people deserve to have enjoyment. It's a part of life. It's important.
And Ghanaians love enjoyment.
Ghanaians love enjoyment.
They love enjoyment. They can be broke, but they will find a way to enjoy themselves.
I enjoy it too.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Every day of the week is something to do.
Yeah. I love that too.
I love it.
And I think that's why people have this sense of feeling like it's home.
Yes.
When they come, because it's like there's always something to do. There's always people to see. There's always something that brings you that sense of like calm and peace. And
yes, always.
Yeah.
Always.
What is your favorite part about being here?
I would definitely say the people and then the weather, hand in hand. I love warm weather. I never need to see cold. It's never too hot for me. There's never a day that's too hot. I love hot. But you can find hot weather all over the world. It's the Ghanaians that make it special. I wouldn't be here if I didn't feel welcome, if I couldn't get adjusted, if I couldn't settle, if I couldn't make it home, live my regular lifestyle. I mean, I have a whole life. I get up, I have my driver every day. My security washes the car, he waters my plants. The woman that comes and cooks for me, she makes all my favorite things that I like, my fresh juices. I go play tennis. I'm in a tennis club. I'm in a Pilates group. I do my Pilates. I'm so fulfilled. I have like my massage people. I walk in there, they know me. They have things ready for me. I just feel special. And I like that. It's nice. And it's not even about money. Like, it's real, genuine relationships. In the beginning, I used to think like, oh, they just see me as a walking dollar bill. They just want to chop my money. But no, they really do care about me. And you can tell. And it's really genuine. I think Ghanaians are very genuine people. And if you treat them that way, they'll give you that back.
That's good. I'm glad.
I love it.
Welcome, my fellow Ghanaian.
Thank you, my sister.
Ghanaian. Fellow Ghanaian.
I be Ghanaian.
Have you started learning any of the words?
I know tree on the surface. I just signed up for an intensive 3-day-a-week tree classes, so I'm going to start them when I get back from my travels. But yeah,
is it with one of the schools?
It's a university. It's a school, and they're going to come to my house.
Oh, that's
so
nice.
I was doing virtual, and I realized when you let me get online, I'll be too distracted. I might be on my phone. You got to sit in my face, and I got to get this lesson. So they're going to come to my house 3 days a week.
That's
to
nice.
Do it.
Nice. That's
but
nice.
I feel like if you're a citizen of this country, you have a responsibility to know at least one of the 60 languages. Pick one. But again, it's a responsibility. So I have to learn Tree at the bare minimum, because how disrespectful is it to not speak the language of the country that you live in, of the people? I think it's disrespectful. The same way Americans would get mad and say, oh, Mexicans are here, they don't even speak English, and get mad. Okay, then you go somewhere into somebody's country, you need to speak their language too. So I'm committed.
Well, I'm going to be checking on you, let's see, a year from now.
Give me a year.
That's what I said, a year.
Yes, because my brain is slow.
Now.
Like, I took 6 months of doing Tree twice a week, and I still can't even get past at the same.
Well, it's funny because I'm trying to learn Ewe, because my father's side is Ewe, but I don't know Ewe. I know Tree because my mother speaks Tree because she's Achem from the Akan people. And same thing, people keep telling me different words, and I keep forgetting them.
Yes.
People keep telling me different things. There's a lady on my street who has a shop, like I walk like 2 houses, and then she's on the shop, and every morning she'll say "Efwa," and then I'll be like, "Oh, am I supposed to say eh?"
Yes, and
am I supposed to say yo?
Yes.
And it's like every day this woman is saying it to me. I'm like, then I go eh. Then she's like, "Hey, yes, you got it." And the one time I was mistaken, I was like, "Yo." She's like, "Oh." She's like, "Oh." So
it takes time.
Yeah, it's I'm gonna check up on you in a year.
Check
and
up
then
on me.
Somebody should check up on me in a year. You check
My
up on me in a year.
tennis club holds me accountable. They speak Tree to me all the time, so they hold me accountable. And they won't call me Dawn at all. I'm Ajwa. Period. Ajwa.
She's Ajwa.
Period.
I'm Ifya.
I like these things though.
Yeah,
I like Ajwa.
I'm Ifya. Ifya Della. Della is my Ewe.
I like it.
Yeah. So for me, I don't have to talk about this, but for me, coming back is also like a real homecoming too, because I always knew I was from Ghana. I was born here, but we left. I wasn't even 2 years old when we left. It was like 2 months before my second birthday. And my parents always talked about it and everything. So it was like, yeah, we know about Ghana. And my mom spoke the language at home and stuff. But coming here, I also had the same adjustments because I grew up there. I basically was very Canadian, so I also had the adjustments to make. But there were moments when I felt like, there's a sense of peace and calm, and connecting with your roots and everything. And then with my working, when I used to work with the Year of Return and Beyond the Return, and being around a lot of diasporans, there have been moments when I've been like, wow, this is so beautiful. It's like the global Black family coming together. Yeah. And there was one particular moment that I really felt that, the citizenship ceremony with the 524.
That was nice.
I wasn't working with them at that time. I had already left, but that moment with the Diaspora was like, wow. It's like you can never recreate that moment. I don't think you can ever recreate that. But the other time was in 2019, the NAACP had come. They had like 250 people who came that were a mixture of African Americans. There were people from South America, some people from the Caribbean. There were some Black people from the Netherlands also who came,
Wow.
some people from Canada. And after they did this like awards ceremony kind of thing and dignitary speaking, then they were like, after the food, the DJ is going to play the music. DJ puts a song on. Everybody, I'm just like, this is Black people. This is the Black family. Everybody lined up like it was like the Soul Train line. Everybody lined up, didn't matter where you were from, and start clapping. And then Granny comes down dancing and everybody's cheering her on. Then another person comes down. And I was like, we are the same people, you know? And in that moment, I was like, yeah, this work I'm doing is really meaningful. It's really purposeful because it's getting people who have lost their connection to return, you know, whether it's to return just for visiting, living, or investing, to return at least once.
Yes.
And feel the ground and feel the spirit, feel the people. So that moment showed me like, yeah, we really are the same people.
We are.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dawn,
Thanks for having me.
for taking this time. Finally, I know I've been
Yes.
wanting to, and it's like schedules haven't aligned, and finally it aligned.
Yes.
Yeah, and it aligned it perfectly because it's now when she's a fellow Ghanian.
Yay. And I have so much more work to do, you know, even though I'm very proud of what I've accomplished. For me, what I know God has for me, it's a drop in the bucket, you know, for what I'll do over the next 30, 40 years.
And if anybody wants to support you in what you're doing, they want to follow you, how can they find you?
They can definitely find me at Dawn Dickson, Dickson, on all platforms. So I'm really active on Instagram, LinkedIn for business type of things, and then I have a website, dawndixon.me. So definitely check it out. I don't share too much about my projects because I'm not a talker, you know, I'm a doer. So once my first homes are fully built, I'm going to really start putting it out there and showing people so stay tuned in the next 6 to 8 months. Some big things are coming.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to share this video so everybody else can learn about this amazing woman. And if you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.